Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this Friday morning devotion with the Word to Live By. So good to have you here. I made an announcement yesterday that we're going to change the format. Doctor still wants me to not have to get up at 5:30 every morning, and she wants me to get some more rest and make sure that I'm healing and recuperating properly. So we're going to change this format a little bit. On Wednesdays, I will be doing a devotion, but I'll also be doing updates on upcoming events and things that are going on and just different things on my heart, just in the middle of the week. So look forward to seeing you on Wednesday on that one. But this morning, when I read the devotion out of the book that I shared with you yesterday, the daily devotion with Calvary Chapel pastors, it was an interesting one that I found from Pastor Jerry from Calvary Chapel San Pedro up in San Pedro, California. It was talking about going back to the house of God. And I was thinking with the coronavirus that it's really taken its toll on a lot of people, and they just really, for whatever reason, have not come back to church. And this is what he says. He takes the verses out of Genesis 13, 3 and 4, where he says this: "And he went on his journey from the south as far as Bethel, to the place that his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, to a place of the altar that he had made at first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord." To get the full story, go ahead and read Genesis 12, 10 through 20, because he went down and he gave a lie to Pharaoh about Sarah, and he mentions that here. After his lie was exposed to Pharaoh about Sarai being his sister and not his wife, Abraham leaves Egypt embarrassed and ashamed. Thankfully, he goes back to Bethel, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning. Bethel means the house of God. By leaving Bethel for Egypt, Abram had faltered in his faith and had left the house of God, thinking he could remedy his situation without God's help. He brought more trouble on himself instead. Christians moving away from the house of God in times of trial will always bring trouble to their soul. Like Abram, we have all faltered in our faith at times. We have all had times of doubt, thinking that we could somehow fix our unique situation apart from God. The next time these challenges come along in your life, and you find that you have left God's presence instead of remaining and trusting Him, remember to go back to the house of God and to the altar to worship and to restore communications like at first. There are times that we go through whatever it is that we're going through, and for whatever reason, we get into the habit of not going to church. And when I read that, I could not help but think about Hebrews chapter 10, where Paul is saying this. And I'll read a little more before and after, and it says, "Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he has promised is faithful." If we're Christians, then we need to hold to that and not be embarrassed about it, not when somebody says, "Are you a Christian?" or "Are you one of those people?" kind of back away. Just with confidence say, "Yes." And not only am I proud to be a Christian, I am blessed to be a Christian. But some don't do that. And some go, let's face it, all of us, like the devotion said, you fall into sin at times. What happens? You get ashamed, you get embarrassed. And then it says, verse 24, "And let us consider one another in order to stir up love and good works." When a brother or sister falls, you should be there to help, stir them up back to the good things that they belong to, the family of God. And that's where verse 25 comes in. Not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together as the manner of some, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. Well, we can certainly say that we can see the days approaching with the world and everything that's going on. This is a time that we need to be a family more than we've ever been before. Too many people are relying upon the internet to get their fellowship in. And if you know somebody, or if you are one of those people, I highly encourage you, there's some spiritual dynamic that happens when you actually come and worship together. And because I know during my illness, I was watching, but it wasn't the same, or my recovery, I should say, from surgery. It wasn't the same as when I'm with you guys here. And beforehand, the fellowship, the worshiping together, God directing us together as a family here personally, and then the fellowship afterwards. It's so easy to get distracted at home, but it's so wonderful to be together as a family. If you find yourself making excuses, I'll just watch it on Instagram, or on YouTube or Facebook, you're falling in and away from fellowship. If that is your habit, there is a design for that. People who are so far away from us that they can't be here and they can watch it, or they're home because they're sick or somebody else is sick, that's fine. But to just have that in your home to be all that it is, when you have the capability of coming and being part of the family who loves you so very much. So I encourage you, don't let anything hinder you from coming and fellowshipping with one another. Stand strong for the Lord. And maybe you're embarrassed that it's been so long. We love you. Don't even think about that. You know, maybe you disagreed with the virus on some people's stance on whether to take it or not to take it. That doesn't matter. A house divided will fall. We're not going to judge anybody. We're going to stand strong together as a family and be there. We're going to be there. But how can we be there with you if we don't know? So I encourage you, dear friends, don't forsake the gathering of the brethren. If you blow it, get on back here faster than you can shake a stick and get back into fellowship and that relationship with God and relationship with the family here that loves you so much. Well, that's what the Lord put on my heart today. And I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. We're going to have a special message as we're moving into the time of Christmas. And then we're going to see you again on this weekly Wednesday devotion and update on current events. So until then, my dear friends, may the Lord bless you, may He keep you, may His face shine brightly upon you so that you can get out there and shine. God bless you. Have a fabulous day.